What is the biggest secret to drifting your car better? I know you know what I'm gonna say and you're already ready to click out, but we're gonna talk about why this is so important and how you can do it. Practice is the biggest secret to drifting your car better. It's not parts, it's not getting a bigger angle kit, it's not getting a more powerful car, it's getting out there and driving more and practicing correctly, which we're gonna show you guys how to do. So you might be sitting yourself thinking, how do I even do this? How do I practice? Before you get started, get one with your car. Get in your car, feel where the pedals are. The steering wheel, shifter, row through the gears with the car off inside your garage. All that stuff's gonna be important, and it's gonna be stuff that you can do and not waste your track time, which is one of the biggest things. Get some of that stuff out of the way beforehand. It may seem weird, but honestly, sit in your garage. If you know the track layout, run through it in your mind, kind of play with the steering wheel, go through the shifting the gears, get comfortable with that stuff, because all that needs to become muscle memory. And once you get on the track, you've just saved yourself some time and money by doing that ahead of time. So where do you practice? You can look up events. There's a lot of websites now that will have like when track days are going on. Just go on Google and search for tracks. You can go to their schedules as well, and you can usually see drift nights or drift days on there. The other thing is, honestly, play some video games. I know it sounds silly, but especially when it's wintertime for a lot of you guys, get either Forza or CarX, Assetto Corsa, one of those. If you can't afford a sim, completely fine, you can use a controller. And I would be practicing all these techniques on there. Especially for right now, we're already kind of in winter. If I didn't have access to a track yet, I wouldn't just be sitting around, waiting for summertime. I'd be practicing on video games, honestly. And then as soon as those events open back up, get out there and practice on them. Do not practice on streets, guys. Yes, maybe you can get away with it. We've all done it. We've all been guilty of that. But when you're starting to learn to drift, that is a horrible time to practice. There's other cars out there. There's other people out there. It's not a set out track layout. You're worried about the cops. You're worried about bystanders, whatever it is. So keep it on the track. Street drifting is not the place to practice, especially when you're learning. When do I practice? A lot of us, we don't have access to a track every day. For me personally, I went down to Musselman Honda Circuit. It's a local track for me, and they had track time you could just go on any day during the week. So if you have access to that, that's a great way to do it. Most of us still are working on weekly or even monthly events. So you want to use that track time wisely. Look for events that have like some open format stuff where it's just cones, maybe a wet pavement, or maybe just a big rectangle that you can kind of go out for a couple of seconds and come back in. That's gonna be most ideal, because what you're initially gonna wanna be doing is just focusing on feeling the car out. That's what you really wanna be working on before you take it to like a laid out track. What do you practice? Start out with donuts, guys. That's an exercise we talk about a lot. And I'm not talking about tight donuts where the front wheels, basically stopped and we're going like that. Pick like, 50-foot wide circle and focus on making a clean, consistent circle around there. Focus on steering, focus on your throttle control, focus on keeping two hands on the steering wheel at all times, focus on not using your handbrakes. That's a huge thing. Once we're on track, make sure we're looking ahead a couple corners. Really, it's about smoothing everything out. Don't get too pumped up, get excited, and start going nuts with the steering wheel. Honestly, if you find yourself doing that, slow down, finish the course, get back in line, and relax. So I'd focus on that a lot, is really just getting comfortable, slowing stuff down, and focus on technique. Doing clutch drifts, right? Not handbrake initiations. So doing those clutch kicks and feeling kind of how the car floats, getting back on throttle. Technique's right, it's gonna look sick, and that's how you're gonna look badass off the track. Focus on one skill at a time too. I see a lot of guys go out there, I myself have been there, we'll go and we'll shred the whole track and we just mess the whole thing up. We're doing left turn, right turn, trying to chain, doing figure eights. Focus on one thing at a time. It doesn't matter if you're just going out there and you're doing donuts and you're focusing on that same donut, left-hand donut every time until you get it clean. That's gonna be great, because once you go to right-hand donuts, you've mastered left-hand donuts. And once you go to figure eights, you've mastered left and right hand. It's as easy as just transferring in the middle. So focus on a skill at a time, build them up together. Once you're on track though, focus on a corner at a time, honestly. Focus on your entry, start there. Focus on getting that entry really clean. If you mess it up, wait a couple corners, maybe try a corner towards the end of the track, but it's really about not chaining them all together and forgetting what you've already done once you get back in line. And use that time in line effectively. I know it sucks, none of us like waiting in line, but instead of sitting on your phone texting or updating on social media, process your run. Think about what you're gonna do, how you're gonna fix it on the next run. That's pretty much it, guys. If you guys like off-roading, drifting, really cars at all, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you guys in a couple of days. Peace.